what's up guys, Benny here and welcome to another episode of Benny's Boot Camp where I have an insane 40 kill gameplay in duos using the Cr-56 Amax and the P90, which is one of the reasons this gameplay is so insane because they're weapons that you just don't see being used enough, and this gameplay showcases how well they can really perform. And it's by Lucky Chamu, whose links will be down in the description, who we've seen before, but he's been doing so well in tournaments recently, like coming third in the MFAM gauntlet. So I really want to check his gameplay and what makes him so consistently good, because we just saw there, he just steamrolled through a team using that floor loot MP7, which I'd say is the second best floor loot weapon in the entire game, along with the FAL, which is number one. But he just rocks up and just controls that aim perfectly, snapping onto the targets, and he plays really aggressively at the start. And something I've noticed, even though he had a plate, he didn't take that second just to plate up, but really took advantage of the situation. Also, before we get into the rest of the gameplay, 73.6% of you are not subscribed to the channel, so subscribe and you'll get better at Warzone, I promise. Now, something I've noticed with these high kill games is everyone drops Superstore, and then you always have stuff like this happen to you where you can't really do anything like this. There is an element of RNG when you land in places like Superstore where there's so much going on around you, and if someone picks up an RPG and hits you at this range, it doesn't matter how good a player you are, you're just going to get obliterated. So it's to the gulag you go. Now, he comfortably won his gulag there and just lands and finds a foul, which is pretty lucky these days as it's so good. But also, I will share the class setups that Chamu uses in this gameplay with the Cr-56 and the P90, because you're definitely going to want to use it. But that's why I love the foul so much in this game now. It used to be terrible, but the time to kill, if you've got a fast trigger finger, obliterates everything else. Now, something you'll notice most good players do as well is that even if they've got the FAL, they'll pick up another assault rifle like this Bruin for those mid-range fights, because the FAL does perform really well at a distance. But what I like here, and something you should observe, is the way that he approaches this gunfight. He knows he's got the person pinned in the garage, but he does those little jump shots and just tries to wind those angles while pre-firing, just so that if the enemy is, if you put yourself in the enemy's shoes, he's just getting bullets flying at him. So he's going to try and just crouch, make himself as small as possible. So when you're just firing, you're going to pick up as you're widening that angle. You can get a really easy kill that way. Okay, so this is the loadout that Lucky is using in this gameplay, which is the Cr-56 and the P90. And he's also got double time, a C4 and a heartbeat sensor for those of you wondering, and also overkill and amps, which are pretty staple these days. But on the Cr-56, he's got the monolithic suppressor, the Zodiac barrel, then he's got the GI Mini reflex, which is a nice, interesting choice. Don't you see too many people using it. And then you've got the 45 round mag and the Commando foregrip. And then on this P90, he's got the fly strap. He's then got the tac laser, the monolithic suppressor, and the both stippled grip tapes on the underbarrel and rear grip as well, which just makes it an absolute beast, as you're about to see. Now, as we go into this gunfight, I really want you to pay attention to how he uses both weapons to get the most in the different ranges of gunfights that he approaches. He also doesn't start shooting straight away. Now, this is key. Everyone just sees someone and goes, oh, I've got to start shooting. No, he gets himself the cover, gives himself the position, then opens fire, gets that down and eliminates the target. Then, once again, just does that nice little jump shot, which you're going to see a lot of people do. And then, because he knows he's pushing, switches to that P90. And I'm honestly surprised at how good this is. And it drops people so quickly. Too many people sleep on the P90. And also, because this is duos, you'll notice he's very brave in the way that he pushes opponents, because he knows if he gets that down, it's a 1v1. So that opening is crucial. Now, to get high kill gameplays in duos, especially with loads of tournaments going on, getting UAVs in quickly are key, because it's harder to get a lot of kills, because if you wipe a squad, you're only getting 2 kills at a time. But use that Cr-56 so well, switches to the P90 for the push, and then knows when he's moving these down these areas. And then, once again, he's got a longer line of sight, switches to that Cr-56, but then knows he's pushing, so he switches to the P90. Switching your weapons for the right situation is crucial. And I also really like that, because he just lost track of where the opponent had gone. He couldn't see him on the heartbeat sensor, but watch how he approaches and closes these angles when he pushes a 10. He kind of cuts the cake, if that makes sense. So he knows that he's going to be able to get that shot off first, gets the UAV in so he knows the exact location, slide cancels. He's going to see the opponents running away from him. So he'll get here and then switch to the Cr-56, I guess, or he's not. Okay, this is interesting. I personally would have used the Cr-56 there, but the P90... I'm actually going to start using this over the MP5, I think, because the time to kill is insane. Like, look at that. It's perfect. He's got a self-res, but not enough for Chamu. Now, I personally hate pushing these buildings because when someone's camping on a roof, it is so hard to push them properly, but I'm guessing we're going to see a really nice way of doing it for my Lucky here. Opens up with a C4, pushes and jumps through, which is the perfect way to push a rooftop. You never kind of want to go through slowly because a lot of people, if they're pushing a building up the top, so if we go back just a little bit here, there's a couple things. So you can see that window on the top left. One thing you can do is hop onto that kind of banister that you can see and check that side. But what Lucky does here is he throws the C4 to kill any explosives like claymores or proximity mines near the front, then jumps into here because if someone's pre-aiming this front of the door, they're not going to be able to kill him properly. They're going to lose track and you're going to be able to get those shots off. It's the only way to push someone on a roof. Gets a really nice kill and then is using that UAV to try and spot and marks so he knows exactly where the person is without having to kind of guess, which is a nice little trick to do. So as he's landed on the roof here, he knows an enemy is around here. So he stops sprinting and goes into hip fire stance, which allows him to hear the footsteps here. Once again, when he's going through the door, he doesn't just walk through a door. This is something you'll notice with every top player in Warzone. They don't just walk through the door. They'll always double tap jump shot in there. Makes you harder to hit, makes you harder to track, and also gives you an improved chance of coming out on top in the gunfight. Once again, I really want to point this out. Trophy systems and vehicles, so important if you want to get a lot of kills. He's just seen a loadout drop in the distance, so he's going to aggressively push that, knowing that he can't get taken out by a C4, which is always a nice feeling. Oh, he sees a vehicle. Look at this, the Cr-56. I love it so much. It does so much damage. He gets unlucky there not to get that down. Now, this is something that Chamu does so well to kind of keep up the pace for the kills. Is whenever they get UAV, he instantly marks where enemies are. So he can push them a lot more comfortably knowing the rough location without having to keep checking his minimap. Sees that down. Oh, the P90 is disgusting. But really good positioning once again, like kind of maximizing those angles. Sees it down, doesn't go for the thirst. There's no point Chamu killing the person that's down there. He's not going to get the kill. All that's going to happen is he'll blow his position. He can use him as bait, so the enemy is going to push towards him, which is what he did there. Right, so the gas is going to be starting to move in 20 seconds. So he's got to play this very carefully. They know they down someone here, so they're going to be looking here. Gets the high ground. Oh, this is so good. Such good play. There we go. Oh, so really want to point this out here. So he knows the second player here. So once he's cracked the guy there, takes this person off, finishes the kill, but knows he's got to get a reload off. So gets to this side, so he knows he's got time to get a reload. Even if he gets pushed, he's not going to get shot in the back. He's just seen him on this right-hand side. Uses that. P90. Disgusting. He hasn't actually used the Cr-56 that much yet. The P90's just been picking up 15 kills already. Okay, so to keep the pace up, Chamu's hop back in his vehicle, but he knows an enemy is ahead of him thanks to that UAV once again. So he gets out of the vehicle so that opponent doesn't have an exact idea on where he is. So he's just to close that gap down, got the P90 out, slide cancelling so he can move as quickly as he can, and cuts towards that circle's edge so the enemy's going to push him. Perfect use of the heartbeat there. So before we get into this, right, what he did to make sure that he doesn't get jumped while he's using the heartbeat, he lies down so he's a small target, not as noticeable, does it, pops up, knows he's ahead of him, uses that Cr-56, and ooh, that's clever. He changes the angle. Knows he's got the crouch. Perfect. He doesn't sit there waiting for the person to get a shot off on him where his teammate could either pull a flank or put pressure on like he's done there. Like, this is what he did so well. So let's just watch this again. This is how to play a 2v1 situation. Okay, so he knows the enemy's there, uses the Cr-56 for the mid-range gunfight. Straight away, cracks the armor. He could just, most players would just sit there and kind of wait for the other player to pop up again, but he doesn't. He changes that angle, puts the pressure onto the opponent, takes him out, backs up again because he knows there's a couple sides. Also, sound is crucial. He hears the footsteps coming, so once again, he takes the angle here, makes it so the enemy has to move into the room to be able to get a shot on him, but by that time, you've got the first shot and you can pre-fire it, and you've got control of that situation. Perfect 2v1 play. So once again, this also shows why you need a really good teammate here. His teammate's got an UAV, so he knows that there's one person on the rooftop and then one below. So he can make this a 1v1, gets that kill, and now knows he's in a 1v1 scenario again. So it's always about making those odds where you've got the advantage in enough gunfight. Like, that guy had no idea what was happening. You know the exact position, you push down, you've got that pre-fire in the push using that P90, which I'm gonna try out because it seems insane. It looks as if it could stand up against the MP5, to be honest, from this gameplay. What I love about watching this sort of gameplay is it's the same mechanics every single time. So he arrives in the vehicle, gets out early because you don't want to be caught getting too close to a loadout drop because he needs to get ghosts, but also knows that those loadout drops that happen within the first and the fifth circle are going to attract enemies. So as he approaches here, right, because he's aware that players might be around here with ghosts, but can also see from his compass on the top of the map that enemies are around, as well as the UAV on the left-hand side. But these guys on the loadout actually have ghosts already. So he goes very carefully, scans the area. Now, this is what I really like to see. Like, approaches this really narrow angle, scans, sees the guy up top, gets it down, loses him for the angle, but re-changes his position so that if he has been called out or he has been marked, he's going to lose that live ping and also just mix it up so he doesn't have an easier shot. Gets picked off there. Hold on. Where's this shot come from? I really want to see this. Where's the angle? Can we see this guy as he's being shot? So has Chamu missed something or has he just been picked? No, so he's not actually seen this opponent yet. So he's been seen, gets the kill and moves away. So knowing that most people's behavior when they shoot an opponent is just to chase and push. So he gets behind the first bit of cover, changes the position and waits for the opponent to make that play because he knows he's more than likely going to get pushed, checks the area, and was very systematic there. So waited till he had the upper hand in the gunfight, starts pushing, uses that P90 to push, and the guy sat in a corner and just gets absolutely destroyed. Something Chamu does really well from watching his gameplay is the amount that he uses vehicles to move around the map. He'll clear an area and then just completely move out to get himself UAVs if his teammate hasn't got one in. So he can keep the pace up the entire time, which if you're going for high kill gameplays, especially in kill race tournaments, you have to be doing. You have to always be on the move. And you'll notice he always splits off from his teammate. Most of the time, he's by himself doing 2v1 situations because in order to win these tournaments, you have to be doing that at all times. So he's approaching a building once again. There's a fight going. Luckily, he gets that kill. Doesn't go for the thirst because he knows, right? This is so good to watch. So time to learn. Something to learn here. He knows he gets a very lucky kill here. He pretty much steals this kill from the other guy, but uses that down as an advantage and an opportunity to push the other player, switch that Cr-56, he knows it's an assault rifle, and gets a kill that he would have otherwise missed out on. So he now knows there's potentially two more enemies, one for that team, and then one for this guy over here. Switch that P90. It's the same things over and over again. Pushes, gets that team wipe, perfectly done, and so nice to see. Oh, shots coming in. I love seeing how players deal with these situations as well, because this is where he no longer has the upper hand. He has to play up to try and get there. Shots coming in. Use that Cr-56. Not as much of a laser beam as the Kilo or the Grau is. So he's got a bit more recoil, so he has to deal with that. Gets that drop. Oh, sees some stopping power rounds. I wonder if those are going into the Cr-56 or the P90, but he doesn't like that fight. This is such good play. And I know, right, that every single one of us doesn't like leaving a gunfight, but here, that player has the upper hand. So to survive and give himself a better chance of surviving, he's moving away. He's only got one plate left, so he's probably going to buy some plates here. If I was him, I'd get some plates. Or he hasn't. Oh, but what he is doing is he's just gunning people out of the sky. Straight away, goodbye. 2 easy kills from that. All right, he's seeing people come in from the buy station. So whenever you're in this situation where players are coming down from the buy, play aggressive because you know that those guys are not going to have their weapons just yet or right away, and they at least need to put plates on. So you've got a few seconds that you can really capitalize on them. Use that UAV. He's going to get the high ground on them, I guess. So he sees them on top. He's got the stopping power rounds in the P90, for those of you wondering. Uses that assault rifle just to kind of narrow that angle. All right, well, C4, drop. All right, I really like that play. So he put the C4 on the roof, but he didn't pop it until he was near the top. So he's got an armor crack. So he has an advantage on that player. And that is the only reason that he has come out on top there, because that guy got the jump on him. So if we let's just have a look. Let's just have a look. All right. So if we go to the front here, he blows the C4 as he's near there, so he can push through. The guys has got to do it. And because he's done that, he can kill this guy super quickly, which allows him to get that double kill. Really smart play, and I've not seen many people do that. Delay explosive on the C4 to push the roof. Nicely done. All right, we're here once again. He's getting very fortunate that this lobby, this lobby doesn't seem to have much ghosts. So they're getting UAVs and the map's lighting up like a Christmas tree. Gets the shots off, gets those plates on. And once again, every single time that you can in this game, try and get the high ground. And you'll notice when he pushes this roof as well, he's not 100% sure what's on the right, but he knows enemies are there because of the UAV. So he gets on the left-hand side from the area that he's come where it's less likely for him to be shot from the side. And he's just using that high ground to his advantage, which allows him to pick up that kill. Finishes that, and he's now kind of just paying attention. He's got the map position here because he's got the gas line where players are going to have to push towards him, which is always the situation that you want to be in Warzone. Oh, he's just taking shots, just dips out of there straight away. Doesn't even bother trying to fight there. And interestingly, is he's left that cash pile. At this stage, when you're going for high kill games, you don't prioritize cash. You're all about keeping that pace up and just taking down opponents. Every second you waste, like trying to loot up, is just going to mean that you're not going to get those high kill games. And I love his use of the Cr-56 here. It is so clean. And I'm just really enjoying seeing loads of different weapons being used in Warzone now, from the Bruin to the M4 to the Cr-56. The Growl still gets a bit of use, but the meta is definitely a lot wider than it used to be, which is only a good thing. And as you see there, the Cr-56 is a usable weapon and shreds when you land your shots. So what we're seeing here is some really clever play with the way that he's using the gas. He knows enemies are on his left-hand side thanks to that UAV, using the gas and using that wall to have that control. And here we go. It's the easiest kill he's ever going to have because the opponent can do nothing. So controlling the gas and kind of pinwheeling in is such a clever way to rack up a lot of kills in Warzone. It's time for the end zone with 12 teams, 10 more teams left up, which is still quite a lot of kills up for grabs. And Chamu's on 32 already. So you'll notice Endgame is definitely the time where you can pick up a lot of kills very quickly. Gets that heartbeat, sees where two enemies are, and just look at that P90. It just doesn't seem to have any recoil. Where the hell did that guy come from? Hold on. I gotta see this. Where did this guy come from? I didn't see him. Wait, he's just lying in that bush. Honestly, he is like a ninja. If you can just see him there, just look at him in the bush. Like, Chamu misses him completely, and they just stands up and gets destroyed, but gets a free UAV out of that, some extra cash, which is always nice. But I really want to use the P90 after this. So something I really want to talk about as well is taking advantage of these sort of situations that we're just about to see, where you're taking those lines where people have to push towards the inner circle as much as you can and cutting into those. You're always getting opponents then running out into the open when they're trying to run away from the gas, and taking advantage of that is what's going to really allow you to get a lot of kills. And it's something that you'll see people in tournaments do a lot, and stuff like Chamu, who's been really successful in those tournaments, always doing, because at the end game, you'll get a skyrocket of kills because there's a lot more people moving in from the circle who are slow playing, and you wipe squads just like that. Got very lucky there. 2v1 situation, so they could have gunned him down, but that is where you're going to pick up all these kills. So this is one of the worst situations that you can find yourself in. He's just checking that gas to see if anyone's coming in for him, but running across these huge open areas is where it is so easy for you to get picked off by a sniper or an assault rifle player that's already set up within the circle. So you've always got to be very careful of that. Sees the player running in and doesn't fire. Use that P90 to close that gap. He's paying attention to his map as well. Like, if you see the angle that he's running in, he's kind of cutting into the gas line once again. It's kind of like a little pinwheel, which I know is how a lot of people have been describing it recently, but nose is there, switch that Cr-56 Amax because it's more of a mid-range fight. It's not super close, and just gets that double kill so cleanly. That's how you want to do it. And like, Chamu does this constantly. It's so nice to see. And there we go, right? Dipped out, uses that land, and then runs away. Uses the gas line's edge. Doesn't go up here because he knows that if the person's got high ground there, he's going up onto a top lip so he could get shot at. So he's just going to rotate, lose track of, so they lose where he is. He knows they're a rough position, so he can reapproach from a different angle. And this is how you always want to play endgame. There we go, straight away. Because their habit is, oh, we've just shot someone there. We need to push there. So he's going to rotate here, get the high ground, where they then have to come towards him. And this is something you want to be doing every time. Now, here, if you have a look at the minimap, instant map position advantage, because very unlikely for him to be able to rotate round to the left and get the high ground of him. He's now got them where they have to run straight at him. And it's a pure gunfight where, like, unless you get incredibly lucky, you're not going to get out top. Oh, He's got taken down by the guy lying down. He'll get thirsted here. 100% gets thirsted. Oh, he's been killed by an RPG twice in the game. RPGs are everyone's least favorite thing. Because what do you do with that situation? But Rep can still clean this up. He drops 40 kills, 1v1 for his teammate. Load the next player. Always a stressful situation here, but straight away, like they've got that nice and cleanly. Like, that was some incredible gameplay that we've just seen. It's made me want to go use the Cr-56 and the P90. Let me know if you're going to go ahead and do the same down in the comments below. And also check out Chamu. He's a beast of a player, been doing really well in tournaments recently, which is amazing to see. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Benny's Bootcamp. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Subscribe if you're new and smash that like button and click one of the videos on screen for more Warzone content. And I'll see you there.